Like a little music with your meal, Tuco?
Music? Yes, it's very good. Very good for the digestion.
We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams.
You know, we're always quickest to doubt people who have a reputation for being honest.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Could be a monkey or a orangutan.
A bald monkey? Is he a pig? He sure eats like one.
I've got him, Senator John Hoffman. I would tell you he's my brother from another mother, but I'm kind of, be honest, a little tired of him. John, how are you?
I'm doing, Al, great. Don't be a blockhead today, Al. You are the star of my day, man. There you go.
See, folks got to watch this thing as well. And YouTube, Al Travis Show. Here's my issue today. Yeah. I have another, what I think, if any of these bills that I'd like you to call the Al Travis bill, by the way, we have not to have one, and I think I've given you a dozen of them over the years of our friendship. This is one that I think if you get this passed, Senator, you could have any job you want in Minnesota, okay? I don't know if you've seen it. There's this cartoon for a chemical company where this blonde cartoon gal keeps losing her key when she goes to work, and I'm not even sure I know what the drug is for, but I thought I did after watching it a few times. Well, now this same cartoon chick is like a superwoman climbing to the top of a tower, turning a light. I would like you, sir, to make the law in Minnesota, the Al Travis law. You may not put a commercial on that no one understands. It's a waste of everyone's time. It's a lot. Can we just do that?
That's like the Super Bowl party, the Super Bowl, or there was like, oh my God, this great feeling. It's like, oh, and then it was
what was it for?
It was like I don't even remember now. I just remember I was a letdown, dude. You just kind of go, ah, and because your heart's going, yeah, and then yeah.
My wife and I were watching something, and it was a progressive ad. But it got done. My wife goes, what was that? I said, I don't know. Some reason we're supposed to buy insurance. I don't even have a clue why. It was just strangest ad I've ever. Let's get that cleaned up. Is that okay?
That's what it was. It was It might have been Progressive or Graco or one of those, one of those. Yeah, it was an insurance ad. It was like this feel good kind of thing. And then you go, ugh. So,
well, don't even get me started on that little gecko thing. That little gecko thing. Now the new one is eating chips with this Mexican couple. They're talking about chips and salsa. And then it's done. And you're like, why would I buy insurance because you like tacos? I don't know.
Maybe we should have the Pope. We should have.
Yeah. Why do you are God? You enjoy your job way too much.
Do you know what I like? I like the fact. Guess what? What comes up on your screen, which maybe you should tell every one of your radio. When you host people, there's a thing that actually says live. This is being recorded. Hey, not that I would, say anything about that, but it's just kind of. Oh yeah, no, it goes to
right now. It goes to the Al Travis Show, brand new, by the way. You should like it and subscribe on YouTube.
Really?
Because now it goes to YouTube, and then I can bring it over to Facebook. It can still be on Facebook, but it's an extra step because management said so. So let's go with that. I don't want to get all.
If I go to YouTube right now,
and then the Al Travis Show, that's just.
I love this.
And then you're right there.
I'm gonna like it right now.
Well, I think you subscribe to that. It doesn't cost you anything. It sounds scarier than it is.
Al
doesn't
Travis
cost you.
Show.
Look at that.
That pops up. The Al Travis Show. Democrat extremism. Well, come on, Al. What the heck?
Who said that? What are you talking about?
It says Al Travis. Well, one of your first things is you're talking to some dude. You're talking to some guy. I don't know who he is. Guy with a mustache. And then it's like, I'm gonna subscribe. But the first show it shows up is Al Travis Show, and then the second one is Minnesota Democrats show their true color. What do you got? What
are you talking about?
I'm going to the Al Travis Show. I'm going to your thing. Look at the first videos that pop up on your thing.
Why is it? Well, why is he showing up? That's from 2 years ago.
I have no idea, but what?
Go to the home. Go to home. Hit home on that. What the hell is that? I don't have any idea.
No, that's what popped up. I just hit home, and no, it doesn't show. I just go to Al Travis Show. There we go. We click on Al Travis. There we go. There you got 3 days ago. You and Emmer. But isn't that funny? How you better get your SEO Google guy to fix.
Oh my God! I got to figure that out.
Everybody says Al doesn't like Democrats. He's a Democrat hater.
That was the shows from 2 years ago. For heaven's sakes! And I don't know who was that. I mean, And that's the one you're looking at is Emmer from 3 days ago.
That's the only one that's on there right now.
Hit the live button right next to it.
Right, live. Connected to the internet, you're offline.
Oh, you're not online. That's on you.
No, I'm there. I'm right there.
There you go. All the live stuff comes up separate. I had to tape Emmer because
I love this.
he couldn't make this work. See, now that's the Al Travis show.
Dude, this is cool. Now so that should be the first thing that pops up. Why
I don't-
is that one that popped up first that says you hate Democrats?
I'll go find out. I don't have any idea but that's the page. Every show we do is put up there and says Senator John Hoffman.
Everyone. So you just said Blois has his own little thing, 45
Yeah.
years ago. He's got his own, everybody has their own little segment in here.
Yes. So all yours, if you type in now a week from now, you put in John Hoffman, you'll have all yours right there.
I love
what
to set this up for you.
Me? Oh, you don't even want to know, John. So I had an Al Travis show page, or an Al Travis page, and then an Al Travis show page. Now, these were set up 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Back when I was brilliant. Why, what was it? Housley couldn't find it, just like you just said. She kept going to the Al Travis page, and she goes, no, nothing there, nothing there. So I said, I'm just going to get rid of the Al Travis page. I don't need it. I'm 60 years old. I'm not going to become a YouTube superstar. So I deleted the Al Travis page, and underneath that was the Al Travis show page, and it wiped that out as well. I had to start fresh last week. It was yeah.
So by mistake, I love this, but by mistake, you were able to discover this is something you could do. That
Yes.
I bet you nobody knew. I didn't know you could do this. I have a YouTube page.
Well, aren't you something?
Yeah, like I remember setting it. Somebody set it up for me.
That's how that worked.
And I used to I used to do videos. I would do a weekly update videos, because it was like and
From the Capitol. I wonder if you guys can do that. Okay, let's talk some work because I don't want it to get too crazy. Go ahead.
What do you mean? I'm going to start doing those again. I think
I think you should. It's so easy today with Zoom and the rest. I just Zoom it right there. I want to talk a little work with you before we go to the break. I don't know how in depth we're going to get because this story doesn't make complete sense to me yet, but it's going to be the talk for the week, and I want your input. I don't know if you saw this from Minnesota Reformer Champion, Bobby Joe Champion, the Senate president of the Senate and head of the Ethics Committee, is now, and who knows? I mean, when you bust this thing down, the allegation is he worked for a nonprofit group, pro bono, who's just helping him out, and there was nothing wrong with that. That also at the same time, or some overlapping time, was granted a $3 million grant through the state.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. And then these things all kick up, and then what happens when it's all said and done, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how this all works because, quite frankly, if it's pro bono, I don't know if you can call it working for them. You helped your buddy out. I don't know. But this is going to be the talk of the week.
Interesting. No, I'm not. I've been so swamped with trying to get, I have to cut $700 million. The Senate target, it's doable. I can do that, and I can honestly say, there's two things I said. Number one, I'm going to stay within the target that was given.
Yep.
It was fair across the board, and given the fact that already your buddy out in D.C. cut another $24 million from Human Services in the state of Minnesota. It's like, come on, and those are substance use programs, right? It's like, you got to stop this stuff. It's really sad, actually. And so I said, I can do that. But the $1.5 billion that, the governor's proposal was, and the $1.3 billion that the House proposal is it's going to hurt people. It's absolutely going to hurt people. And not just hurt people that are going to make it tough, but these are people that are relying on services. So I spent all weekend I did a town hall, and then I ended up working on that stuff for today. And so I don't read the Reformer. I don't read whatever else is in there. So you're brand new. But listen to this. You sounds just like. Do you remember when a certain senator was beaten? People were beating the crap out of him because he had information that everybody that. Anyway, I was right. There were 4 counts of fraud against the organization. And it was pretty sad because nobody yet, even the one TV station or anybody else who said, Hoffman's a crook and he's going to go, he should resign. Matter of fact, the dude on your show was the one who said I should resign. I was right. 4 counts. Someone's going to go to jail because of this. And you know what? I knew this was happening and it was sad, but I stopped it. And that's something that people don't realize is that fraud's a fraud, right? John Hoffman was beat up. It's ostensibly over some crap that didn't even have anything to do with this. And so when you started talking, saying that you said $3 million, it's like, that reminds me of a story. But no, to short answers, I have not read it.
Which is fine. I just ask you because this will be the story this week, and now he's on the ethics committee. I presume, I don't know, he takes himself off conflict of interest. Do you know, are you allowed someone on your side to step back in on that? It doesn't become a 2-on-1 on the ethics committee, do we? Because that's going to be the story this week.
There's a president, the way the Senate, the history of the Senate, right? We have a president and we have a president pro tem. So
Okay.
in the fact that a president is unable to do stuff, the president pro tem would take those. And I believe, well, it's Ann Rest is the president pro tem. So she's the
Okay,
president.
she would step in. Okay, fair enough. We'll find out. This is going to be the news story of the week, and I would like to go to break. If you can do this, and maybe you can do it off the top of your head, you probably can because you're that kind of guy. The budget that you had last time, because you were on this program last week, can't believe it was on the front page of the paper, last week saying you were going to be able to find that $750 million. You did a thing, and I'm not going to remember all the letters, the alphabet soup you came up with to find that. Bust this sound for me, John, on the other side of the break. Last year, the last budget was X for John, whatever that is. Senator Hoffman's budget was X. And then this year they gave you a number that you have to get within, which you said you can get within.
Yep.
I want you to can you tell me what those two numbers are? Am I allowed to know that under human services you were looking to be what and what? Can we look at those two numbers? Because I'm having a problem with the Senate wanting to cut $2 billion, but I'm under the impression the entire budget's going up. But yet it's a cut. It's that whole thing. We'll talk it through on the other side. I'll give you all the time.
We'll talk about it when you come back.
All right. When you come, Senator John Hoffman on the Al Travis Show.
If it's your turn to host a game, Grandpa's Barbecue suggests you try something different. Put out the perfect barbecue flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. Add it to your ribs, dip the meatballs, or drench your wings in the original flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. It isn't too hot or spicy, fruity or smoky or whatever. Grandpa's Barbecue. Available in select stores and online at grandpasbarbecueshop.com.
All the special interests are represented in St. Paul. But who speaks for you? Center of the American Experiment does. Our policy fellows dig into the tough issues that matter to you and offer common sense solutions on education, taxes, crime, and energy. American Experiment is the trusted, nonpartisan voice of Minnesotans like you. We are working every day to make Minnesota a better, safer, more prosperous place. We are American Experiment. Go to americanexperiment.org to learn more.
Easily offended? The Al Travis Show is not for you. The Al Travis Show. All sides are welcome.
I've got him, Senator John Hoffman, who's going to explain it like a third grader to me, because it seems like when I say this, people look blank at me. These senators like, what? So last budget was $71 billion, and we had about $17 billion of one-time money, right? I mean, we didn't think it was going to be overrun every time. So I just take 71 minus 17, $54 billion, just roughly. That would have been the stuff we spent. You're shaking your head no. Am I already off? Why am I off? It was $71 billion was when we had the $17 billion extra we weren't waiting on. No, why are you shaking? Am I wrong? Are you messing with me?
No, I'm not messing with you.
Oh.
So you said there's a couple of things that take into consideration. Number one, it sets an operating budget, right? So you set an operating budget, and these are all assumptions, Al. The real money comes after things are done in the budget in the book, right? Everything else are assumptions. When they say forecast, you hear the word forecast, right? You also hear about, the budget assumptions, or they say there's going to be a structural. When they use the word structural, that really doesn't mean, I have $5 less in my pocket than I had before. They're saying, according to the assumptions of the forecast based upon X, Y, and Z, some arithmetic person said, this is going to happen. This is going to be the structural operation of the state of Minnesota at this date and time. So 4 years from now, it's going to be $6 billion structurally less than what it is today. Meaning we don't have the amount of money right now. We have $71 billion to cover $71 billion, right? 6 years from now, you're going to have $65 billion to cut the 71. That's basically simple math, right? And so, but based on some projections and assumptions, that really actually is $2.4 billion, right? And so, because these are all assumptions, so the real money to play with is $2.4 billion. And they say we have to cut our spending by $2.4 billion in order to balance the budget 4 years from now. Not now. Right now, we're fine, right? But 4 years from now.
But here's this supposed to sound like regular people, because that's a lot of stuff. I get it. The rest of us don't project out.
Simple terms, dude, didn't I?
Well, here. So how much money then in the last whatever it be, 2 years, did we bring in? Al, you make a salary of X. The wife and I sit at the table. So this is what we made last year. This is what we think we'll make this year. I might get a little raise. Okay, let's try to figure out what we're going to do from there. Will this budget, the one that you're working on, Senator, this is what I'm talking about. This budget that the governor came out, $66 billion.
Yep.
They're yelling at that it's a cut. But except for one-time money, it's not a cut. It's more than generally what we bring in. It presumes growth. I'm not opposed to growth. But my point is, when we say we're cutting money, this budget's bigger than 2 years ago. Yeah. Getting rid of the one. That's what I'm saying. We're growing but cutting at the same time, and that gets hard for folks.
And my statement on cutting, and thank you for that, Al. That's I suppose that's a way of saying it. For me, I put assumptions in, talking about assumptions.
Yeah.
That we have more people 65 and older than we do in K-12 education. That's a fact. And do you realize, Alan, in another year, 25% of our state's population is going to be 65 and older. That's a fact, Al, right?
Yep.
I can
It's a math problem, yes.
It's a math problem. And I'm not a math person. I'm a sociologist. I'm not a math person, right? And so, and I look at that and I say, okay, the cost of providing help for seniors is been growing, right? We know that it's been growing because boomers didn't save their money and they didn't necessarily set aside the insurance provisions that they need. So there's going to be an increase. I don't know, elderly waivered services are going to be an increase in some other services. There's also an increase in the need for what's a mandated service that the feds say each state must do. There are 17 of them, Al. Can you name those 17?
No. Nope. Take care of our... No.
Could you name two of them?
Name two benefits we have to give to the elderly?
Have to give to the elderly. What are the two?
Medicare and Medicaid.
No, that's a payment system. Throw that out the door.
I don't know what you're asking me. You put me on the spot.
Nursing homes and hospitalization.
Okay.
Done. So you got that, right? So we knew this 12 years ago. I love having these conversations, by the way, Al.
Yeah. So quiz Al. Okay.
Al, let's quiz Al.
1 minute to go.
No. Oh no! 1 minute to go. Come on, this
it's a timing thing. I got to put commercials in here. 1 minute.
Okay, go do your commercial.
No, we're done in 1 minute. Wrap up, sir. We're done. I don't want to kick you out of here.
We knew this 12 years ago, and so when you hear talking about people about, well, we gotta slow the growth down. You can't slow the growth down, people, because people are getting older in Minnesota. What you're basically saying, slow the payment structure down because we're going to cap percentages that nursing homes should be able to get, which is going to go backwards because of the fact they can't hire enough people because they can't pay enough people. And so we're in this quadrandrum, right? Or whatever the word is, not
quandary. Quandary. Let me throw this at you, John. 1 minute to go, because another brilliant idea. I saw this old gal on something. It might have been a lie. This old gal took all her money and she went on a cruise. You can get on a cruise ship.
You told me this story.
Yes. And yes. So it costs her like $10,000 or something for a year-long cruise. I say the state of Minnesota says, okay, opt in, old folks. You want to cruise the rest of your life? We'll pay for your ticket on there. They got a doctor, free food, house care, place to live. If you live in Minnesota, it's cruise time, baby, when you hit 65. I think I could get into that. Can we not make that happen?
It would be cruise ships, because then the days that you get build up the points. You shared that story with me. The person said, forget it. I'm not going to live in my retirement home anymore. I'm going on this cruise ship. Isn't that cool? Got a
good doctor, medicine, 3 meals a day, buffets, entertainment. You don't need much more. That's all I'm going to say. And now we won't play those commercials. Senator, love having you on the program. You know I do. Senator John Hoffman on the Al Travis Show.